This video is going over writing equations from different word problems. Alright, so here's our first problem, buying bicycles. Latanya and George are saving up money because they want to buy some new bikes. Latanya, she opened a savings account. She already had 50 bucks. She got a job and she's going to save an additional $30 a week. Okay, now George, on the other hand, he started his savings account with 75, so a little bit more. And he's going to save $25 a week. So we want to write an equation for both of these people, Latanya and George, that shows how much money they're going to have. Okay, let's start with Latanya. Okay, we're going to have to first kind of define a variable. So we want to know how much money is going to be in her savings account. So maybe we could call the money M. Okay, so we'll just put M equals. Okay, so let's think about this. She started with $50, so I know she already has 50 bucks, so I can write 50. Plus, it says she's going to save $30 every single week. So let's say she saved for 1 week. She'd have that $30. For 2 weeks, she'd save another $30, which would be $60. 3 weeks, she'd keep saving. So to figure out, we don't know how many weeks she's going to go for. So we just are going to be able to write she saves $30 times however many weeks she's saving for. So I called that W weeks. Now, I really should define what my variables are. So I'm going to write that M stands for the money in the account. You should always define your variables. And the W stands for the number of weeks. Okay, that's what those stood for. Now, I would actually probably rewrite this equation. I'd put the M for the money equals. I'd always put my variable first. So I'd write she saves $30 every week plus that 50 she started with. So there's Latanya's equation. Okay, let's go to George. Okay, now George will put for his money. He started with 75 and he's saving 25 bucks a week. So instead of the 30 bucks a week, he's saving $25 every single week. So we would have to take 25 times however many weeks he's saving for. Plus, he started his account with the $75. So here's the equation for George. All right, so we have both of their equations. We have Latanya's right here, 30W plus 50, and George's here, 25W plus 75. So we wrote equations for both of them. Now, what if we wanted to figure out when are they going to have the same amount of money? Okay, one way that we could do that is to set up a table. So Latanya, I kind of already set this up. She started with 50 bucks and she's going to keep saving $30 a week. So we can kind of start adding 50 plus another 30. That'd put me at 80. And then if she saves another 30, that'd put me at 110. Okay, another 30 would be 140. Another 30 would be 170. Another 30 would be 200. And another 30 would be 230. I'll just stop there so far. Okay, now George, he started with 75 and he's saving 25 every week. So after the first week, he'd have 100. And now another 25 would be 125, 150, 175, 200, 225. So I want to know, when do they have the same amount of money? Well, I kind of can just look at the money column. They both have $200 after 5 weeks. So a solution to both of their equations would be this, 5, 200. Now, let's kind of go back and let's see if that works in the equations. All right, so we're going to check that out. Here was our solution, 5, 200. Let's see if that works in both of these. So for 5 weeks, it should be 200. Let's plug that in. Okay, I'm going to put a 5 for the weeks, 200 for the money. Let's see if that works. So it says 200 equals, so I'm going to do 30 times 5, which is 150, plus that 50 here. So 200 equals 200. So that does work for Latanya. Now let's see if that works for George. Again, plug a 5 in for the weeks, and I'll put the 200 for the money. Let's see if that works. So I have 200, 25 times 5 would be 125, plus 75 is 200. So that works for George too. So after 5 weeks, they both have $200. All right, we're going to look at another problem here. So it says, it's the end of the semester and the clubs at school are recording their profits. The science club, they started out with $20 and every single week they're increasing their balance, that's how much money they have, by $10 per week. Now the math club, they saved $5 per week, and they started out with 50. So we want to write an equation for the math club and for the science club. So I'm just going to kind of write those down write those down quick. The science club and the math club. All right, first thing I should probably read is this sentence. It says, let X represent the weeks and Y represents the balance or the money in the club's account. So for science, I'm going to start out with Y equals. That's the money, it says, right? Y is the balance or the money. Okay, so for science, they started out with $20, so I know they're going to have that $20. So I'm just going to kind of put the plus 20 at the end because I know they already have that. And they're going to save $10 every single week. Now, we don't know how many weeks they're saving for, but it's $10 per week. So we're going to have to take 10 times however many weeks. And up here it says X should be the number of weeks. So I'm going to do 10 times however many weeks. So there's the science club's equation. Okay, now the math club, I'll put Y equals, that's how much money they have. They started out with 50, so I'm going to put plus 50 at the end. And they're saving only $5 per week. So they're going to do $5 times however many weeks. So I'm going to put X. So there's the equation for math and science. So again, math is 5 times however many weeks plus that 50. Okay, now if we wanted to see when they're going to have the same amount of money, we could make a table like we did in that last problem, but I just decided to graph it. Okay, so I took the equations, I just put some points in and graphed it. So let's kind of look and see if we can see where they have the same amount of money. If you look at the graph. Well, here's the sciences in purple. They started out with 20, and they saved some money each week. Okay, and then the math club, they started out with 50, okay, and they're saving a little bit of money each week. All right, so you can see right here is where they both crossed each other. So that's where they have the same amount of money. So after, it looks like 6 weeks, they both had, let's see how much money, they both had $80. So after 6 weeks, the math club and the science club had $80. That's the solution to this system of equations. So I have 2 equations. Those are called a system of equations. That's the solution to both of them. Okay, so 6, 80 works in both of those equations. All right, this is the end of the video, so please go back and re-watch anything that you didn't understand.